Alright guys, welcome back to the Average Day in the Life of the Heathen. I am the Heathen. My name is Bob. Y'all call me Bob. Y'all seen that movie with Bill Murray? What about Bob? Well, I'm Bob. At any rate, what I'm sitting here doing is I'm sitting here writing lawsuits. Okay? In order to write these lawsuits takes a lot of study, a lot of research. Okay? While I'm doing my research, I come up with the subject. They tell y'all, the courts tell y'all, trust the doctors, trust the science. And while I was in UTMB with my wife, I noticed that these professor surgeons, they don't even bother with staying in surgery with the resident surgeons. The surgeons who are resident doctors, they don't even stay in surgery with them. They're down the hallway on the phone. There ain't no supervision. There's horrible derelict of duty. I mean, it's very, very horrible. Okay, the bar for your medical treatment has been lowered so low it's not even funny. And I just wondered what is wrong with, like, Dr. Sunstein, by the way, who has just as many stars as this guy right here that y'all see right there. That is Dr. Alan Than, MD, orthopedic surgeon. He's a surgeon. Oh my God, board certified. Now y'all just watch this now, okay? Because like I said, it takes a lot of research for me to do this. And I want y'all to see his actual case. Man, did the chair bump the man? Okay, but at any rate, as I'm dealing with UTMB, I'm going through everything that they have, okay? University of Medical School Houston. Now remember, they tell y'all to trust the science, okay? Now I could tell you I've already read it and really don't want to, but I'm going to go ahead and read it for y'all anyway, okay? This case concerns the procedural due process. Before I go any further, let me stop. Okay? They tell you to trust the doctors and to trust the system when the court themselves don't even trust the professor doctors to decide who can and can't be doctors. Okay? If they think that their procedural has been violated because the doctor was cheating to get his license, that's okay. He don't know what he's doing, but it's okay because they didn't follow procedure whenever they caught him cheating. Okay, remember the doctor's name, find out what hospital he got privileges at, stay away from him and that hospital, okay? I'm telling y'all. But anyway, procedural due process, if any, that must be afforded to a graduate student who is dismissed from a state university. The trial court found that the student's due course of law rights had been violated and granted the student a permanent injunction. The Court of Appeals affirmed 874 S.W.2D 839 for the reason expressed below. We affirm that the permanent injunction as modified. Alan Than, a medical student at the University of Texas Medical School at Houston, was dismissed for academic dishonesty as a third-year student. Than took the National Board of Medical Examiners exam in surgery on February 22nd, 1991. During the exam, two proctors observed that Than repeatedly looking at the answer sheet of another student. The proctors were instructed by Dr. Margaret McNeese, an associate dean of the University of Texas, to either pull Than's test or to move one of the students. Before the proctors could do either, however, the student from whom Than was allegedly cheating finished the exam and left the room. Perceiving that the threat of cheating had dissipated, and rather than disrupt the remaining students from still taking the test, the proctors opted not to pull Than's exam and allow him to complete the exam. Shortly after the exam, UT requested the NBME to prepare a statistic analysis of Than and the other students' exam. The NBME compared the joint wrong answers, that is, the common question that both students answered incorrectly, of the wrong answers. The students gave the same wrong answer on 88% of the questions. The dude was cheating. He don't know what he's doing, and because of the courts not allowing the doctors who are experienced to decide who can and can't be a doctor, they don't even give a damn no more, and the bar has been lowered so low, and that's why my wife has been hurt so bad. And they've also made it so you can't sue these doctors for malpractice, okay? Y'all have no idea what these courts have done to we the people. Okay? Upon receiving the NBE's statistic analysis, UT instituted disciplinary proceedings against Stan for academic dishonesty. UT gave Dan oral and written notice of the charges against him, including notice of some of the evidence to be used against him at the hearing. At the hearing, Dan opted to represent himself. UT was represented by Dr. McNeese. Both made opening and closing statements. UT called the two proctors as witnesses, and Dan extensively cross-examined them. Dan called two students who had taken the same exam to testify on his behalf. At the conclusion of the hearing officer viewed the testing room with Dr. McNeese. Although Dan asked, he was not permitted to accompany them to the testing room. On the hearing officer's recommendation, Dan was expelled from academic dishonesty. Remember now, so far the only procedural denial I see was allowing that prick to go back to the exam room to look at it. This guy cuts on people today, and he don't even know he did not pass that exam. He was cheating. Okay? Ooh, that makes me so mad. Okay? Dan retained legal counsel and appealed his dismissal to Dr. David Lowe. Dan retained legal counsel and appealed his dismissal to Dr. David Lowe, the president of the medical school. Dr. Lowe upheld Dan's dismissal. Dan filed the action alleging that UTM had violated his right to procedural due process under the due course of law guaranteed of the Texas Constitution. Dan obtained a temporary Article 1, Section 19 of the U.S. Constitution. Okay, I'm fixing to be using this same crap. But I got real reason against UTME, these pricks. Okay? Requiring UTM to permit him to complete his medical education. The Court of Appeals affirmed. University of Texas Medical Branch School versus Stan. There's the whole information right there. When the UT refused to provide Stan a certificate necessary for him to participate in a residency program, they refused to let him do surgeries on live patients. Because they knew, the experienced doctor, that he did not know what he was doing. But because of this, they don't care no more. And I'm telling you, it's very, very dangerous for you to go in there and get a surgery. Very, very dangerous. Linda, is it dangerous? Yeah. They almost killed you because they don't know what the hell they're doing. Okay? Let it go back before I have a stroke now. Okay, when UT refused to provide Dan the certificate necessary for them to participate in the residency program, the trial court found UT in contempt of the temporary injunction. UT sought magnanimous relief and a stay of the trial's court contempt order. This court granted the stay on July 1st, 1992. University of Texas Medical School versus O'Neill, 35 Texas, sub CT. Damn it, I know what it is. It's right on my mind, man. Okay, what all this means, it's right on my mind, but right now I think I done had a stroke. July 1992, we denied UT leave to file petitions for writ of mandamus and lifted the stay on December 31st, 1992. December 31st, 1992. In January of 1993, the trial court granted Dan a permanent injunction ordering U2 to change Stan's failing grade on the surgery exam. Man, listen, guys, the court, the judges, all these educated idiots are going to tell you, trust the science, trust the doctors. They're there to help you. When those who were doctors that knew wanted to refuse somebody the right to do surgery on somebody, the court stepped in and said they have to let him. This is something where the court should not have, because now it's too late. It's too late. I'm telling y'all. Okay, remove from Stan's school record all references to his expulsion and all documents concerning the charges against him. The investigation, recommendation, hearing, and appeal. Treat Dan as a student who graduated in good standing. Wow. Dr. Stan Okay, this is all part of the permanent record. I'm telling all of you. Okay, I decided I wanted to look them up because my wife was almost killed by one of these pieces of shit that was fixing to graduate. He was on his way out. Dr. Sunstein did not do the surgery. It was a piece of shit like this that did the surgery to my wife that almost killed her. And this is the reason why. Okay? But at any rate, this guy right here, guys, make sure y'all know who he is. In Fullerton, if you need fucking surgery, make sure you stay away from this fucking doctor and anybody, hospital that gives him privileges. Okay? Because they don't give a damn about we the people. Now, if you're a multi-billionaire, trust me, this man will never be allowed to touch you. Okay? The reason why my wife is where she is today is because of a piece of shit like this that did not know what the hell he was doing, that they let him do it anyway without supervision. They leave surgery now. The doctors who are experienced veterans of doing surgery, they don't even stay in there with these pricks when they're doing it now. They leave and let them do whatever the hell they want. If you have an emergency, I'm on my phone, call me, I'll be in the cafeteria. I'm telling you. Yeah. Now y'all know why. Trust the science. Trust the doctors, what the educated idiot's going to tell all of us. Yet the educated idiot said because he got money, because he's a half-ass educated idiot, he can be one like us, even though he cheated and got caught. Because he cheated and got caught, he should not be allowed no due process to see the goddamn classroom. Okay? He knows what it looked like. He knows he cheated. He's cutting on me and people I care about. Okay? With that, guys, I'm out. Woo! But I'm going to use a lot of that in my suits anyway. With that, I'm out.